Good afternoon again, dear Dhamma sisters, mostly Dhamma sisters. I think Venerable has attracted many Dhamma sisters, right? So, what I mentioned just now is describing the nature of relationships. So how do we look at relationships, and how do we have a rewarding life when we are looking after such relationships? Let me start by telling you about these people. In the world, there are these places called blue zones. I'm not sure whether you heard about blue zones. In these 5 places, people live usually, most people live to 100 years or older. So they are very long living people. And the scientists in this world are they are very puzzled. They are not sure why these people, most of them, live to 100 years or older. So they study these people, and they found that there are 5 things which all of these people have. The first thing is the family is very important. They have very strong family relationships. Number 2, and also the young people, and I showed you on the picture here, there's this old man, 101 years old. His niece come and see him every day. And this is the niece daughter. Both will come and see him every day. So although he is living on his own, he feels that somebody is around him. So the family is very important, to these people. And that is why they live until so old, 101 years old. Number 2, they are very strong as a community. They meet, they talk, they play games, they do activities together very regularly. Usually once a week, twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, the young and the old will meet. Number 3, they will do some kind of physical activity together, sometimes do walking, sometimes do dancing, or something which is very physical. Number 4, they live a life with very little or no stress. They make each other happy and cheerful. They take care of each other. Number 5 is they have a purpose in life. That means they have a reason to live and a reason to give. So why do I start with blue zone people? These are the example of people with very strong relationships. Therefore, and I show you some news from the CDC. CDC is in America. They are the people who did a lot of research on the COVID-19. Because when America got the COVID-19, CDC controlled the spread of the disease. So they have said this: loneliness and social isolation linked to serious health conditions. These are the opposite of the blue zone people. Number 1, they have social isolation, means they stay alone. They don't have much mixing with relatives, with family, with friends. So it causes premature death. That means they die early. So some of them 60 already die. Some of them not even 60. As opposed to the blue zone people, 100, 105, some of them 110, they live so long. Then number 2, social isolation. In about 50% of the case, they had dementia. That means when they are old, they cannot function properly. They don't recognize people. They don't know how to do normal things. And number 3, loneliness, because they stay alone, they do not mix with others. There is higher depression. There is a higher rate of anxiety. And lastly, higher rate of suicide. They are so lonely, so sad, so depressed. Some of them say, I die better. I die earlier. This is the opposite of the blue zone. Yeah. So therefore, you can see now that good human relationships makes us live longer, live happier, live healthier also. Yeah, that's why I put it right at the beginning. So human relationships are very important. Every human being needs to form and maintain human relationships, right? So we understand this. Relationships facilitate reproduction, also a good environment for development. Because we see that some children, they are left alone, they cannot develop like normal. Yeah, as a lecturer, you know, until I retired, I mix with young people almost every day. And some are, I notice, they are looked after by their parents, and some, they are given many things, but the parents don't give them love. So the way they develop, the way they become adults are very different. This is something I noticed. So we should recognize and celebrate human relationships. That's why we look at it now. Yeah. And of course, some of you might ask, what type of relationships are we looking at? We are looking at all sorts of relationships. And some of you might want to ask, how do I improve relationship with my children? How do I improve relationship with my husband or my wife even? How do I improve relationship with my boss? So there are all these things which human beings, unless you become monk or nun, you will have to deal with that. But don't think that if you become monk or nun, you have no relationship problem. Yeah, sometimes monks and nuns also have certain relationship problems, you know, with their teacher, with their other monks, other nuns also. So human beings are not free. So you might want to become nun and stay away. But don't forget, the Buddha said, as a fully ordained nun, you cannot cook your own food. As a fully ordained monk, you must get food from lay people. You cannot go and grow vegetables. You cannot, not allowed by the Buddha in the Theravada tradition. So you must go back to the lay people to give you all these things. Yeah, and then what do you give back to the lay people? You must teach them the Dhamma. So this is the relationship the Buddha originally 2,500 years ago, he managed and organized it in this way. Then, yeah, nowadays people are so busy. They are concentrating on their own life that they don't mix a lot with others. Yeah, sometimes you stay in this house, your neighbor also you don't know. Do you know your neighbors or not? Do you talk to them, share some food with them? Sometimes in the small town, we know, but when we come to the city to stay, even our next door, left-hand side, right-hand side, we also don't know them. So relationships, yeah, are now getting worse and worse, right? So as I said, mental problems will come when we don't have warm relationships. We have to understand that. You know, we human beings, we go and look for relationships so that we feel wanted. We feel part of a group. You know, some of you might know that if you go overseas, like for example, like a student, you go overseas to study and you don't know anybody overseas, that student usually don't study as well as at home. This thing, we have noticed it, right? So normally if the student goes and make a lot of friends, yeah, and have some relatives overseas where he or she is studying, yeah, he will do. Normally, they must be very committed to do well, right? So this is something which we see. So we reflect that, yeah, let us understand human beings, physical and mental, are important through relationships, right? And as a community and as individuals, we must build good relationships, yeah, with others. But as you were answering the question, there are certain boundaries, yeah, that you must draw up when you are mixing with others in order to form good relations. Although you can be very friendly, yeah, sometimes people don't understand. Let's say when you come to the Buddhist organization, you know, I used to have good friends in school. We go and enjoy together, but they cannot understand I go to Buddhist temple. Yeah, they didn't understand that. So here is a wonderful saying. It takes a village to raise a child. Yeah, one child is an African saying. So in the African society, if you want the child to grow up well, the whole village must get involved. Yeah. So sometimes when you walk through the town, the one person will say hello, the next person say hello, because the whole village knows this person. So that is a good. Then I share some statistics about when our relationships are not well looked after. Yeah, you take a look at the divorce. Divorce goes up because we don't know how to maintain the relationships. Yeah. So what is a relationship? Let's look at it very carefully to understand it. Our relationship exists within a time, meaning to say, let's say you get married, you know, you have husband or you have wife, you know, there are no men here, but your relationship, you think, from the time you get married to the time you pass away, that is your relationship. And you are planning, you know, now we get married, we have a house, we have children, yeah, we buy things and we go on holiday. And after that, when we grow old, we will like this. So there is a time limit, which includes a past history and an imagined future. So let's understand that, you know, the relationship you have, there is a past. Then there's also a future, especially when you get married. You must plan your future together. So within this human created relationship lies, there are responsibilities and expectations. So I will talk about this also within the Buddha's teachings. Responsibility, what you must carry out. Expectations, what you must do. Yeah, all these things is the same. Yeah, but someone is a responsibility, and what you must do because other people, yeah, expect you to do it. So always understand this. Whenever some people invite me to talk about it, right? How can you have a perfect person in a relationship? Some people say, oh, I have found the perfect husband. I have found the perfect wife. Or I have found the perfect boss, or whatever it is. Always understand, ask the question, can two imperfect beings form a perfect relationship? Is it possible? Yeah, you have to think about this. Yeah, if you are not perfect and your husband is not perfect, can the two of you create something perfect? Very difficult. So you must go into this relationship understanding the reality, what is real. You cannot think, oh, once I get married, everything will be lovely, fantastic, because he is such a nice person. Maybe he is a nice person, yes. But human and human needs to work on the relationship. Yeah, it is not automatically everything can become perfect. Yeah. So this is the understanding that we have when we look at relationships. Yeah, let me quickly go through it. So from a Buddhist point of view, what did the Buddha say? Yeah, or what did the great teachers say? So this is my late teacher, Venerable Kesari Dhammananda. I learned from him when I was very young. Yeah. And he passed away, you know, 2000 2006, I think. Yeah. So, Venerable Sir, he said, society grows, our whole society, we are people, then we become groups, yeah, then we become community, and then a society. Grows through a network of relationships which are mutually, we mix together, and then we depend, yeah, on each other. Because when we go into a relationship, as I said, we are looking for something. If you are not looking for something, why do you go into a relationship? Yeah, why? So you have to think about it. Maybe it's just somebody that you know. Then you just take it or leave it now. But if it's somebody that you are close with, you depend on each other. Yeah, that will happen. So Venerable K.C. Dhammananda, he wrote this book, A Happy Married Life. Yeah, and although he was a monk, he could give advice to married people. So some people say, how you can give advice? You are not married. But the Venerable was very good at looking at people. He observed people. So some people were very good in a relationship, and some people not good in the relationship. So he was looking and he was learning, and then he could give advice, yeah, on that. Also, the Buddha, you must remember, yeah, the Buddha, until the age of 29, he was married, right? And then after that, he left and looked for the truth, which he gained through enlightenment. So now let's take a look at two groups. Yeah, within the next few, three sessions, this is the first session, we'll look at different groups. Yeah, and in order to understand, because they are not the same. Number one is the family. When you are born into a family. Yeah, and that is the greatest satisfaction or happiness. Some people, they are born and they have no family. They are orphans, or the family leave them behind. They do not grow up with love and warmth and caring. So the chances are they cannot understand a good family relationship. So there must be somebody to look after them. Then they can understand what it is to have good relationships. Yeah, because if you do not experience a good relationship, you don't know how to form good relationships with others. Yeah, you yourself must experience something to have the same thing with others. Although some people, they are born as orphans, but they were looked after by other people. Yeah, maybe, you know, some social worker, some head mistress, some teacher. All these are also part of relationships, yeah, in our life. So the family is the person's first experience of a social group. So when we exist in society, we work with each other in a social group. So when you come to your Buddhist organization, yeah, like Ariya, you must know how to work with people. And there are those who, as I said, they are not used to working with people. They want to learn Buddha's teachings, but they don't know how to get along with others because they never have good relationships before. So we must look out for these people. Yeah? And it makes it easier to work with them because we understand them. Yeah? Their background is not like ours. We have mother, we have father, we got brother, we got sister, we got all sorts of, but those people, when they grow up without it, yeah, they don't sometimes see the same things as us. So we need to understand that. So a peaceful and harmonious family is the fundamental component of a peaceful modern society. If there is something wrong one famous man said, if there is something wrong in the society, you go back and look, there is something wrong with the family. Because if the person doesn't have a good family, and he becomes a minister or very important, very powerful person, he cannot understand his society. So therefore, it's good to have leaders that understand a good family. Now, this is important because it comes from the Buddha. The Buddha said, if you want to have a really good relationship, you must know those who are foolish and those who are wise, as well as honor those who are worthy of honor. Let's take a little closer look. Right. There are some people, as you mentioned, they do not know how to be good people. What is the reason? I don't know. As I said, there are many reasons. They were not taught to be good. Maybe they have a very unwholesome or a very, let's say, not a good nature. It could be that the family is good, but they themselves are not good. And sometimes we also have, the person is good, but the family are all very bad people. Teach them how to steal, teach them how to cheat, but then they come out as good people. So there is something else working here. There is something else affecting that person. But today we don't talk so much about that. So we associate when we come into a group or a company, or even a family. There are certain, let's say, your family, sometimes there is one uncle that's a bit weird one. You get a weird uncle, always come and then sit in the corner, don't talk to anybody. Maybe. So you get those people who are like that, and they don't do good things. So you must try your best to be, number one, polite to those people, but you don't go and learn from them. Not to associate with them. But you must find out who are the people who can teach you things, who can be a good example. This is what the Buddha said. You must honor those who are worthy of honor. That means those who must be respected, you respect them. Why? The Buddha said, this is the highest blessing. In Pali, etang mangalam uttamam. What it means is, if you want to have blessing, you don't need to go and get the sprinkle water, all the time. The Buddha said, if you do not associate with foolish, if you associate with the wise, if you honor those really good people, you honor them, you are getting blessing already. No need the water and chanting and all that. Your life will be a blessed life, blessed life. So you must follow the instructions, or the advice of the Buddha. But some people, they do not understand this. They think that foolish people are really cool, are really nice. Wow, they are so exciting. They do this, do that, and they are very, very exciting. And I feel that I also want to be exciting. Now I am not so exciting, but if I mix with them, I also become exciting. So some people, they want to do this. They mix with those really, know how to enjoy life. But in the end, you must have the wisdom to see what happens in the end. Are they going to take you to a good place? Are you going to be happier when you mix with them? Or there are some people, they're always talking about money. They're always talking, how much money can I make here? How much money can I make there? And I'm not saying that is not good. It's all right to have money. But there are those who are always chasing more and more and more. And so if you mix with them, you might not be satisfied. We are okay. We are satisfied. We have a small car, small house. Sometimes the house is also quite big, but the everything is okay. We don't have to keep thinking, how do I get more and more and more? Some people, 1 million is enough. Some people, billion also not enough. You understand that. So, okay, then they become very greedy. then after that, they get caught and taken to jail like that. So you have to be very, very careful, yeah, that you are not going to be part of this group. Yeah, you have enough, you are very satisfied. Your other friends also enough, also satisfied. You are very happy together. But as I said, you know, when you mix with those who can teach you things, then you are really blessed. The second stanza, to support mother and father is a blessing. You feel so blessed because why? The father and mother look after you. Now you look after them. Wow, it's a great chance, you know, to be happy, to do good things, to look after your wife and your children. You cherish them, yeah, rather than you know, for a man, go and look for another wife, yeah, and then have other children. Some of my relatives like that. After that, the wife found out, and he has no more wife, no more children, no more anything. Now he stay alone. It's very, very sad. Yeah. So you have to think very carefully, right, about the advice of the Buddha. Why did the Buddha mention this? And then to be engaged in peaceful occupations. Yeah. So the Buddha advised all these things. You don't have to go and keep amulet, you know, yellow paper, special thing, go and wear tangkai around the neck. Oh, I feel blessed. Buddha said, no need. You do all these things all together in the Mangala Sutta. Yeah, you follow these things. Your life is automatically blessed. So that is in the Mangala Sutta, and it is wonderful for great relationships. Then the Buddha also gave this sutta to the young man called Sigala. Yeah, there is a story, but we don't go into this story today. Yeah, the Buddha taught the young man's father, asked him to pay respects to 6 directions: east, west, north, south, the zenith, the high point, and the nadir, the low point. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and the high point and the low point. So every day he will bathe himself and go to the roadside and pray to the east, west, and all that. And one day the Buddha came along and saw him doing this and asked him, what is it? Why do you do it? So the Buddha said, I'm doing it because my father asked me to do it. So the Buddha explained to him why it is important, yeah, to respect these 6 points. And so the Buddha explained, when you pay respect to the East, you are paying respect to your parents. So the Buddha explained in 5 ways, young Sigala, a child should look after his parents as the East. Number 1, having supported me, I shall support them. I shall do their duties. This one you have to understand. I shall keep the family tradition. I shall make myself worthy of my inheritance. Furthermore, I shall offer alms in honor of my departed relatives. Many years ago, when I was still very active in the Buddhist Vihara, the monks told me this story. They told me a car came into the temple compound. Then this young man came out and pulled out one old lady, asked the old lady to sit on the chair in the porch. And the old lady was crying. Yeah. But the young man put her there and he got in the car and then he drove away. So she was crying, you know, this old woman was crying. And the monks went to ask her, what is happening? And she explained, the young man is my son. He doesn't want to look after me anymore. So he brought me to the temple to dump me in the temple, hoping that the monks and the temple will look after the mother. Yeah. You know, I heard sometimes people, they don't want dog, they don't want cat, they put in the temple. Here, he don't want his mother, he also put in the temple, you know. Very easy, isn't it? Just dump in the temple, and then he drove away. There were no IC and no my card, or you know. So it just left the woman there. That is not doing your duty. you are not supporting your parents. Yeah, this is not the way to behave in order, to have good relations or to do your duty. If people keep on doing like this, the family will break down, the society will go into big trouble. That's the thing we have to understand. Yeah. So that's why when you say, I shall keep the family tradition, it's like your family used to do donations to the old folks home. You keep on giving to the old folks home, thinking, I came out of my family, I shall continue the tradition until I pass away. Yeah. And you might even want to ask your children, keep on doing this. Why? Because it's a good thing to do. Support the temple, support the old folks home, support the shelters, animals and pets and all this, support them. Because as a family, you must keep on doing this together. So the parents are the East, and the parents must look after the children, two-way relationship in this way. Number one, they must restrain them from evil. Teach them what is good and what is not good to do, in life. Encourage them to do good. Train them for a profession. So now it's not just like, I want you to be a farmer, you go and learn from the farmer. Now, no, I put you in the university, you learn horticulture, you learn agriculture. And then when you come out, you know how to grow, all these plants and vegetables and other trees. Yeah. So that is training them for a profession. Arrange a suitable marriage. In those days, they arrange marriage, for son and daughter. So nowadays, you don't do that. You don't arrange. Yeah. But you must see, and give some advice. Whether the person, your son or daughter, brings home, what do you think about them? Yeah. So as a parent, you must say something. Right? And if they don't accept your advice, it's their life. They make the decision. It's their life. And lastly, at the proper time, you hand over what property you have, you give it to them, so that they also can do things in your name. Yeah, all the help and the donation, and they can take from here and do it, in your name, so that they remember. They can tell their children, oh, grandfather used to do this, grandmother used to do this. Now I'm still doing it. It is a very good thing, to do. Then, let me quickly go through the West. The wife or husband, the wife is the West. First one is the East. Number one, you have to be courteous to the wife. Number two, you must not despise your wife. That means look down on the wife. Number three, you must be faithful. He said, faithful. The husband must be faithful. Number two, you must give her authority. Like, okay, you look after the whole house. I will bring back the money. You take care of the house, and together we take care of children. Sharing, all this sort of thing. And number five, you must buy things to make her look beautiful, right? These are called adornments. So the Buddha understood this, that women must have nice dress, diamond ring, of this sort of thing. Because he was a prince, and he had a lot of things. But he also said, to this young, the young man, this is the way you must treat your wife. And lastly, how the wife must treat the husband. Number one, she performs her duties well. Number two, she is hospitable to relations and attendants who come to the house and also outside. Number three, she is faithful. She protects what he brings, whatever he earns, and then give her one part of it. She must know how to use it, rather than spend the whole lot of it. And number five, she is skilled and industrious in discharging her duties. Whatever is her responsibility, she will do it. So now let me take a look. Let us take a look at this. I talked just now about responsibilities. So what are the qualities in responsibilities in parent and child? Yeah, number one, there must be love and there must be care, both sides. Number two, a sense of responsibility. Yeah, we don't just think I cannot take care of my children. Yeah, I can't take care of this child. I will just let go. And there are some parents who are very ignorant. Sometimes the child is born at a certain time and then they look at the books and, oh, this one is not good for your fortune. And they don't treat this poor child well, not full of understanding. Yeah, because their star and the child star, you know. So they treat this child in a very bad way. This is not right. Yeah, not a right thing to do. Then there is good communication between the two. There is acceptance. Yeah, there is the parents accept the nature of the child. Yeah, and there are many ways this can be done. Sometimes this boy or this girl don't want to become a doctor. Yeah, want to become musician. What to do? So you have to accept, I think, you know. But when I was doing marketing, yeah, some father said, you will become accountant like me. And so the poor girl got to go and study accountant, although she wanted to study my area, you know, which is design. You must be patient. You must have patience. You must have respect for each other. You must support each other. So that is the responsibility. And the meeting of expectations in a marriage is there has got to be commitment. There must be love. There must be trust. There must be respect for each other. Emotional support. You must support each other. When you are, let's say, a little bit sad, not so well, there must be emotional support. Good companionship. Yeah, good communication and courtesy. But among these, I think a very important quality is trust. Can you trust each other? Yeah, this is sometimes not easy to find nowadays. So with that, I've taken a lot of time. I'd like to thank you, yeah, and wish that our lives be nurtured by good relationships. Right? Would you like to?
Thank you very much, Brother Tan Siang Chye. That was a very interesting talk. Brother Siang Chye, he has highlighted a few things. Number one, relationships are important. No man is an island. Okay, and he has also highlighted, okay, the duties of a parent to their children, and also children to their parents, as well as duties of a husband and also a wife. Now, can we invite Ariya to say a few words on the topic?
Thank you to, yeah. I also like to thank Brother Siang Chye for interesting sharing with all of you. Yeah, and I think for this topic of relationship, yeah, just as we say, no man is an island. We even have to have relationship with ourselves, because not only we have relationship with our close one, our parents who have given birth to us, yeah, and it is very close-knit kind of relationship, and then our siblings, and these are all also just like Buddha said, you know, karmic related too, yeah, and the importance of this, they say, relationship, yeah, it's just like the ship sailing, yeah, and it carry on until we are able to finally release ourselves from the conventionally we say this relationship that keeps humanity to be humane, because all of us are human.
Few clothes here. I really hang most of it.
Sorry, somebody is speaking. Sister Yuan. All right, so these are very important things that we have to always look within. And for our relationship with ourselves, it's good that we use reflection here, so that we see, and we can always in a position to check that whether we are balanced, whether we are happy, or whether we are uplifted, or, you know, in a position that is helpful to maintain our well-being. And a healthy relationship with ourselves will be a healthy relationship with others. Yeah, a poor relationship with our own self will be also a poor relationship to others. Yeah, so the Buddha focused a lot on how we should learn to relate our state of mind to abandon the unwholesome and to practice the wholesome, so that through this way, then we'll be able to relate to others more positively, healthily, and happily. And through this way also we'll be able to be a source of help, inspiration, and motivation for others. So in relating to life, that's why we say the networking between one with another is important. But nowadays, of course, in our modern world, they become a bit more and more challenging, that humans are losing that relation to themselves and the relation to the family due to, of course, technology advancement. Not say the technology is not good, yeah, but the thing is making use of it or misuse it, depending on the choice on how we relate to them, yeah. And therefore, as human, we must remember to relate to another human, because if a human, we relate too much with a machine, with a technology, let's say on handphone, yeah, they can do a lot of things for us, yes, no doubt, but then we become slave, yeah, and enslave our mind, our human mind, to someone that is important, we neglect, but to something that is not so essential, then we get entangled. And this is where it can dehumanize, yeah. I think the industrialization already dehumanized human. Yeah, we become mechanical, yeah, in doing one thing, yeah. So that's why I got a finger problems, wrist problem, elbow problem, you know, because we are not human. We become very mechanical. Now we become very digital. And so therefore, in our time, this is things that we have to also be aware that to lose this relationship with another human or with our own self, it is very crucial things that we have to be cautious about, so that we don't lose our humanity. Yeah, so the humanization is taking place more and more. And now with the AI, I think it's going to be sweeping even greater, yeah, that we don't need human, we just need robot, yeah. And in future, robot will become the teacher of human, and human become robot, yeah. They are so robotic, yeah. Their mind, you know, without the robot, they cannot work. So I think as Buddhists, as teachers, I think we need to also pass on this message and education, so that we still maintain that humanity, yeah. And with this, I think human will thrive better, yeah, because we have mind, we have hearts, and these are very important things that we should understand to relate to each other. And Brother Siang just now have mentioned, yeah, there are different angles of a relationship, and it entails duty and responsibilities. Yeah. So when each and everyone do their duties and responsibilities, then you see the networking become very beautiful. Human become very great. Yeah, and society can progress. So we hope that with this platform, we can be able to learn more, and not only learning, but always put into practice. Then we will see the progression of humanness in our heart, and also the people that come by our life. And I think that is one contribution I think we can do for others. Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Aya. Now, may I invite all brothers and sisters to thank Brother Tan for his kind sharing with us. Thank you very much, Brother Tan.
Okay.